Chapter 1 Autumn Heights. Lightning flickered over the town, shortly followed by a low growl of thunder. Rain had already made the streets slick, and even though it was only late afternoon, the old-fashioned streetlights had automatically turned on in the gloom. Mature trees lined the avenue, slowly losing their battle against the frosts of autumn, leaves turning yellows, oranges, reds, and browns before drifting to the street. Autumn Heights was an old town. Most of the buildings were well over 100 years old. The downtown core was no different, with brick storefronts abutting each other, each with their decorations for the season. It was October in Autumn Heights, and no other town in all the country did autumn quite like the citizens of this small town. Currently, I was pedaling my lady's cruiser bicycle as fast as I could, given the rain and the costume I was wearing. The gauzy material was a hazard, trying to get caught in the chain despite the fact I continuously tried to wrap it around one arm to keep it out of the way. Joan, the cemetery tour manager, would kill me if I arrived at the dress rehearsal with a ripped gown. Not that my character wasn't dead already. Really, the way Mary had died, you would think there would be a rip or two in her gown. Every weekend of October, Autumn Heights put on a cemetery tour. I have been playing spinster Mary Becker for 8 years now. One might hope Joan would let me off the hook of dress rehearsal night, as I could recite Mary's lines in my sleep, but not our resident theater buff and acting arts manager. Joan insisted everyone be at the dress rehearsal, in costume, prepared, rain or shine. Soaked in white and gray gauze, I was turning into the cemetery. Poor Mary was going to look especially pathetic for this particular round of acting, I thought ruefully, as I traversed the path which would lead to the main mausoleum where our group of intrepid actors had agreed to meet. Already there was a small crowd of people gathered, some with umbrellas, others in ponchos. Why hadn't I thought to bring an umbrella or rain gear? I wondered for a moment. Because I had been late getting out of work as usual, my brain replied. Mentally shrugging, I slowed the bicycle before swinging a leg over the middle bar. Letting the Victorian-style gauze wedding dress hem hit the ground, I leaned the bicycle against an edge. "Hey, Vi, have you seen Joan?" Cedric Parsons checked his watch, a frown marring the jagged fake wound gaping down his face. "It's not like her to be late." "I didn't see anyone coming up the path." I shrugged, unconcerned. It wasn't like Joan to be late, yet sometimes people were. I checked the lady's pin-on watch I had on the chest of my costume. It's only 7 minutes past the hour. I'm sure Joan is just running a little behind. Maybe she grabbed some last-minute items for the tour. Or maybe she forgot it was tonight, grumbled Sue Ling, clutching her poncho closer and stamping her feet. I should have brought a coffee. Sue practically lived on Java alone. She was rarely without a travel mug or take-out cup. "Coffee or hot chocolate?" agreed Martin Kent. Cedric checked his watch again. "Joan would never forget. She lives for the cemetery tour. It's one of the few times she gets to order people about. Maybe we should call her?" "Does anyone have her phone number?" Sue wondered. No one replied. I certainly didn't have Joan's number, as I wasn't particularly close to her. It appeared the other members of the acting troupe didn't have her phone number either. "Has anyone seen Kat?" Scanning the crowd. "No, I haven't," replied Martin. "Maybe she's with Joan." Pulling my phone out of my pocket, I swiped through the lock screen and opened the contacts list. Kat was pinned to the top under the title Favorite Daughter. It never changed, even though she was my only daughter. Holding the cell phone next to my ear, I listened to it ring. "I'm lost," came Kat's plaintively annoyed voice. "It's dark in the cemetery, and every path looks the same." "We have flashlights, and are dead center in the cemetery by the mausoleum," I noted dryly. "You should be able to find us." "Ugh, not funny," complained Kat. "I feel like I'm biking in circles. Oh wait, I think I see the lights." "Could be a street light," I mused. I gasped as though a thought occurred to me even as I teased her. "Maybe you're not just lost, but are in a parallel universe. Maybe the fall moon opened a portal and we will never find each other again. The only way to communicate will be through our phones until the batteries die. Really, Mom? Drama much? Kat slowly pedaled to where I was standing. I put the phone away and looked Kat over. Nice costume. You make a great little orphan. Maybe Joan can reuse it if the town does Oliver Twist as the next play. The dirt on the cheek was a good touch. Kat rolled her eyes and tried to wipe her cheek, leaving an even larger smudge. It's not intentional, and the pants are getting really tight and short. I think this is the last year I'm going to be able to do the orphan part. Joan's going to have to find someone else next year. Speaking of, is Joan mad that I'm late? No. I shrugged before slinging an arm around her thin shoulders. Funnily enough, Joan is not here yet. Huh. I thought she was a stickler for punctuality, frowned Kat. Stickler for punctuality? I half laughed at the phrase. You say it all the time, defended Kat. Yeah, but I'm old, I excused myself. You are just a young thing. A babe in the woods, the cemetery woods tonight. You are not that old. Kat arched an eyebrow, looking slightly ridiculous under her tweed cap. Her auburn hair she had inherited from me threatened to escape. You were only 17 when you had me. Let's not repeat history. I gently chided her, checking my watch again. The little minute hand had ticked to 20 past the hour. Joan is really late. Maybe she's sick, suggested Sue. Can we just call off the rehearsal? A hopeful Martin asked, stamping his feet and blowing on his hands to try to warm them. Cedric held up his hands to get everyone's attention. Does anyone know where Joan is? Uncertain murmurs were the only replies. Then I propose we get the rehearsal started, stated a firm Cedric. Joan will just have to catch up to us when she arrives. The group agreed, and soon we were trudging down the cemetery paths, stopping at graves and listening to biographies of the local dead. Some of the stories were soulful, some humorous, and some not quite believable. Mary Becker was the unwed daughter of Mauve and Charles Becker. I began my particularly well-known routine, casting a sweeping arm toward Mary's grave. She had high hopes of marrying, sewing her wedding gown and trousseau by her own hand. Alas, Mary was overlooked by the town's bachelors, leaving her single and labeled as a spinster at 24 years of age. I cleared my throat, pushing a wet lock of hair out of my face. Mary felt her only role was to be a mother and wife. On October 30th, All Hallows Eve, Mary donned her wedding dress, walked through the town square to the downtown Silver River Bridge before throwing herself off into the waters below. Unable to swim, Mary perished by drowning. She was found amongst the rocks and reeds of the Silver River, her wedding gown floating around her like a white cloud. Lightning sparked through the sky, illuminating the cemetery like it was daylight for a moment. My eyes were drawn to a black, cloaked figure on the edge of our small crowd. Thunder shook the ground beneath my feet, and a second bolt of lightning lit the area. The cloaked figure was gone. A shiver ran down my spine. I blamed it on the rain, even as I knew better. Welcome to Autumn Heights, where the leaves are colorful all year round, and the murders just keep piling up. Look for Chapter 2, right here on YouTube. Happy listening.